2 months. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and today I'm going to be making a booktube video for the first time in about 2 to 3 months. First of all, Black Lives Matter. I will say that here and I'll say that now. I've been pretty vocal on my other social medias about the Black Lives Matter movement for a long time now, and I just wanted to say in this video that Black lives do matter. Not only do they matter, they deserve joy and happiness, so Black Lives Matter. Yeah, so I haven't really uploaded a proper video on this channel. Well, I haven't uploaded a video period in 2 months, and I'm not actually sure. Well, I do know why. There's a couple reasons, which I'm going to be talking about in this video today. But I also wanted to talk about my recent reads and some of the reads that I have loved. However, I have been in a huge reading slump because lockdown, and also I don't know if any of you will know this on the channel, but I have talked about it on my social medias and also now on my main channel as well, that I went through a really tough, well, I'm still going through a really tough breakup at the moment, and reading just hasn't been one of the things that I've wanted to do, and I'm starting to really get it back, partly because of all the wonderful books I have recently purchased from Black authors and other authors of colour as well, which I'll be doing a whole video on, which will probably be coming next or after my bookshelf tour, which I have filmed and I have edited. I just need to like sort it out. It's probably because of all of that and all of the bookish community coming together, and also like, you know, pointing out where people have gone wrong. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the bookish community has some ingrained racism in it, and I'm so glad that we are, you know, speaking out about this stuff. I know that a few Black creators have been already speaking out about this for a long time and no one has been listening, but I'm so glad that other people are now listening. I have personally just been going through a lot of stuff and I haven't been reading, and therefore haven't had the motivation or the want really to make bookish content. If I'm not reading, then I don't want to make content around books. I also haven't been watching a lot of content around books, which is probably why I haven't really had the urge to make bookish content or to read. So it all goes hand in hand, it all works in a mysterious way. But today I am actually here to show you some of my recent reads. I have only read like 26 books this year, and it's currently almost July and I'm so slacking. Although my goal for this year, my Goodreads goal, is only 50. Last year I had literally read double what I've read right now, so I'm feeling a little bit like behind, but also not behind. Sometimes I'm not behind on my Goodreads goal. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like update you on some stuff and show you some of my recent reads, what I've been absolutely loving, what I've loved about them, and basically come back after being gone for so long. I was kind of waiting for this like magical moment where it was perfect for me to make a comeback on booktube, but there's not really going to be that one distinct moment where I'm like, okay, now is the right time. I've got to make that moment and that time for myself. But yeah, I've been through a breakup. I'm going through a massive reading slump as well. Any tips to get out of that would be great. Any tips with the breakup would be great as well. I am okay. I just want to say that I am absolutely fine. I've got over the front of it, I think, but obviously me and my partner, me and my fiance were together for 3 years, so it's going to take a little bit of time to be myself again, but I am getting there. We're gonna start making content more regularly now so I can feel like more of myself, and I actually have read a couple of books that have stood out to me that are not rereads. I don't think, no, that are not rereads. I didn't include rereads in this, so I wanted to share them with you today and celebrate my reading so far, so maybe I can, you know, feel pumped to read more in the future. The first book I really wanted to show you today was Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. I actually won an ARC copy from the publisher, and it came out on January 28th, which is how behind I am with talking about my current reads and stuff. So I originally read this for the Filmathon, which is a readathon that I host, but I did read this one and I completed the challenge, Do the Right Thing, of reading a book that surrounded people of colour. So this is all about Diva, who is a Black gamer and streamer in the streaming community. She's playing a really popular game at the time called Reclaim the Sun, which is basically, it seemed to me like an open world free roam game, a bit like Second Life, but a little bit more fantastical, where you have like, you know, enemies to defeat and stuff like that. But aside from streaming and gaming and playing Reclaim the Sun in particular, Diva is just a ordinary girl who is, you know, doing these sponsorships and streaming to help her single mother pay rent. Then she meets Aaron, who has no interest in following in his parents' footsteps of being like a doctor. He really would like to go into the gaming world and write for gaming companies. Diva's fame online really starts to spiral out of control when she starts to get loads of racist and sexist trolls on her stream streams and her videos, and she basically finds herself fighting against them and kind of like not being afraid to be black and a black woman in the gaming community. Obviously, I can't speak for the representation in this book because it is about black gamers and I am white, but I can say that I think it's really interesting and vital that we do discuss the evident racism and sexism in the gaming community, especially towards black and female gamers. I think the whole girl gamer thing is just problematic in itself, and the fact that this book deconstructs that and also flips it on its head to also talk about race and how that has a relationship with gaming, and also the stereotypical gamer and like who is classed as a gamer and who isn't. Really interesting, and I thought it was very thought-provoking and very relevant for right now. As for Diva as a main character, I absolutely loved her so much. I found myself relating to her more and more throughout the book, and she was just excellent to read in her point of view. Honestly, I probably would watch Diva as a streamer if she wasn't fictional. Like, I found myself wanting to go onto Twitch and search for her channel, but I was like, oh yeah, she's not real. I'm not gonna lie, Aaron's point of view didn't excite me as much as Diva's, and every time that he had a chapter coming up, I was just kind of reading it to get back to Diva's storyline. However, I think that him and Diva's relationship and their banter, and also the whole storyline with Aaron and him being like taken for a fool in terms of like the way he's written a game and someone is stealing it from him, and it just kind of reflects the struggle of black people in general who have their work, their art ripped off a lot of the time, and Aaron is kind of fighting against that. I really did enjoy that perspective, but some of the areas of his points of view just weren't as exciting as Diva's streaming point of view. I did have to suspend my disbelief for some parts of this book because a lot of it happens via coincidence, and there are a lot of things where I'm like, that wouldn't happen in real life, but honestly, I decided to just look past them because it was kind of a thing of, I'm enjoying this book, but that wouldn't happen, so we're just gonna ignore it. But it is still a very solid read that celebrates being black and being a gamer, and also streaming and how difficult it can be, and also being a game developer slash script writer and also being black as well. It celebrates all of those things, and again, I don't speak on part of the representation because I am not black and I don't know if it's good rep. However, I think it is really interesting that these sorts of books are being written about now because it's so poignant and relevant right now, and black gamers' lives matter as well. So yeah, this was really good. I really recommend, if you are going to go try it out, then I really would recommend. I gave it a 3.75 just because there was a few little bits I didn't really enjoy as much as I could have, but still a very solid read, and if you're looking for a really quick and easy to get through book about black gamers, then I really would recommend. One thing that has not changed about me since I've been in my reading slump and my video slump is the fact that I always just read Cassandra Clare books. That is literally all I do. So the next two books out of the 4 of these I'm about to talk about, they're Shadowhunter books, so just like indulge me for a second, okay? These are actually quite big books, so I'm very proud of myself for completing them in a slump, and the first one is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Rees Brennan, Maureen Johnson, and Robin Wasserman. I should have googled that before I started filming. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I read this back in March, and oh my god, I was so surprised by how much I absolutely loved this. No one told me what it would do to my heart though. No one told me that I would be sobbing over McDonald's breakfast because I just couldn't contain my emotions. So this, if you didn't know, is basically just set in the Shadowhunter world, and it's just basically what it says on the tin. Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. Basically, the Shadowhunter Academy is like a school for like Shadowhunters to learn about the craft. It carries on from the Mortal Instruments series and follows Simon, who is a little baby Shadowhunter, and all the friends that he meets during his time at the Shadowhunter Academy. So I have a few opinions on this. Overall, I did really like it. I absolutely love the characters. Cassie's characters are just my family. They're my life. Every time I walk into one of these novels, it honestly feels like coming home. I've said that a few times. I absolutely love Simon. I love where his storyline leaves in the Mortal Instruments, but I don't love it. I would prefer if he didn't do that. But I like the fact that it carries on from that and it shows where he goes from the end of the Mortal Instruments. I found that really interesting. It's basically just loads of short stories about his time, and I just love spending more time with Simon and his point of view, and also the new people that he meets at the Shadowhunter Academy. It was nice for him not to just be surrounded by Isabel and Claret and Jace. They are in this, however, he is like flourishing as a person in like meeting new Shadowhunters and also being part of the community. It was really nice. I do think that some parts of it read a bit like fan fiction. You can tell the bits where Cassie is heavily involved in the writing process and where the other authors do start to take over, because I do feel like some of this came across as fan fiction-y. In the book, I think Magnus and Alec are referred to as Malik. I also think that the pop culture references were a little bit of a hit or miss at times, but I'm not really mad about that. It does make it read like fan fiction even more. However, I think it's relevant to Simon's character because he is a nerd, and I got the references and I loved them. However, it does make it more read like fan fiction. Also, not every magical world needs a magical school. That's what I will say. You'll be pleased to know that I finally also read Chain of world. Hallelujah. I feel like this Tales for the Shadowhunter Academy book is very necessary to understanding and getting Chain of Gold. It's referenced in here and you won't really understand what they're talking about unless you read the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, especially certain stories that feature James Herondale, which this book features, and Matthew Fairchild as well. So this is another one of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. It is set in England, again in London, and it kind of just carries on from the Infernal Devices. It carries on from Will, Tessa, Jem, Jessamine, Charlotte, Henry. It carries on from their children. So the parents are in it, those that are still alive. They are in it, just not enough. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was like, Anyway, it carries on with their heirs, basically. So we've got James Herondale, Matthew Fairchild, we've got Anna Lightwood, we've got Cordelia Carstairs, who is my baby, we've got Grace Blackthorne, who can choke. We've also got Jessie Blackthorne and that whole thing. We've got Lucy Herondale, and it just again felt like coming home. When I was reading, I did feel like something was missing. I'm not actually sure what it is. It might be the fact that I'm just so used to the Infernal Devices and I wanted more of that feel and I just wasn't getting it. And also I do feel like it kind of fell into the trope of the Chosen One, which I'm not entirely mad about, but the fact that the Chosen One was James and we didn't really get to see Lucy. She was always overshadowed by her golden boy older brother, and it did come off as like Chosen Boy-esque. I'm just mad that we didn't get to see Lucy fully develop and her powers come to light in the fact that James were. I really hope that we get to see more of her in future installments, maybe in Chain of Iron. I really hope that Lucy comes out of her shell a bit more. I have faith, but I feel like Chain of Gold that could have been really improved by the fact that James was like the chosen one and Lucy Herondale was always overshadowed by her brother. Again, love the characters. I loved the whole dynamic of the plot twist that happens at the very end. I gasped so loud, I had a sore throat, and I'm in love with this and I can't wait for the other installments. It's going to be great. The last book I'll be talking about in this video is going to be Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. Now this surprised me so fucking much. So this book, Infinity Sun, is about two brothers, Emil and Brighton, who absolutely idolize these people called Spellwalkers. Spellwalkers are basically just really higher beings, celestial beings, who are born with either superpowers or just superhuman abilities. Brighton really wants to be a Spellwalker, but in a sudden turn of events, it actually is Emil who gets given Spellwalker abilities, who doesn't actually want to be a Spellwalker. This book is about brotherhood. It is about the New Age and the New Age media, and you know, Brian is actually a vlogger and he makes videos, which I found so fucking cool. This does feature a lot of tropes and cliches, but it does diversify them and make them different, which made them stand out to me. It really warms my heart when we see these like found family, but also actual blood brother relationships and bonds that are really portrayed with positivity and all the good and bad things that come with being in a siblingship. And I really enjoyed that. I love when books demonstrate sibling relationships well. I also absolutely loved the whole romance between Emil and a certain character. I think the romance was incredibly swoon-worthy, like, oh my god. This is an example of how the chosen one trope can be turned on its head, and although Brighton is not the chosen one, it's Emil who is the chosen one. Brighton works with what he has, which is something that I absolutely love about chosen one tropes, is not just the chosen one, like Chain of Gold just focused on one chosen one character and it got a little bit repetitive, but this kind of like flipped that on its head, and although it did give someone a chosen one storyline, trope storyline, it also gave the side characters redeemable qualities as well and made them seem just as powerful and important. It's a very relatable book with a very diverse cast of characters, with complex morals and ideals that are challenged throughout. I'm very excited for the second book, and I did not expect to like this as much as I did. Highly recommend. So there you go, there is my mini booktube comeback. Just some recent reads that I've been loving recently in my reading slump. I will be posting hopefully a little bit more. Obviously I've got a lot going on, as you now know, so I can't really promise a proper schedule, but I really miss filming for the channel and posting and talking about books with you. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed and want to see more of these kinds of videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!